Get crazy!
Most everyone's mad here.
Hello, my wonderful people, and welcome back to another exciting episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. How are you all doing, chat wall? I hope you are doing well. Oh, wow, already we got some subscribers already just starting in. All right, thank you so much, Daniel, and thank you so much, GornZX. All right, so this is great. So, with that said, now I just need to tell you that I've been doing pretty well, I must say, and I will say this has been a pretty interesting past few days in terms of some medical stuff with me, or I guess you could say medical, considering that I did go and donate blood yesterday, which I highly recommend you go and do so, especially considering that this is the time of giving recently. And that, well, lately, it doesn't look like there seems to be enough people going out to give blood. Like, no joke. When I went to go and give blood, the only person that was there, except for me and the workers, were a reporter and a cameraman who were actually reporting of the fact that places where you go and donate blood are pretty much freaking empty. Like, it is that bad. And not to mention that just today before starting this, I went to go and get both my flu shot and my COVID booster at the same time. So I know I'm going to be prepped up and ready. So I'm definitely ready for Christmas. So I won't be as sick if I do get sick. But also, at least for right now, I am hyped up and ready for the show. But also, before we go and begin this, I just want to go and pay my respects to Bob McGrath, who has unfortunately passed away this week at the age of 90. Now, some of you probably know Bob McGrath as one of the more well-known human cast members of Sesame Street, and it's actually thanks to him in which he brought us some very beloved Sesame Street songs, one of which, of course, being In Your Neighborhood. So may Bob McGrath rest in peace, and may his songs will continue to be sung by millions of people around the world. Or maybe not necessarily his songs, but the ones that he has sung. You guys know what I mean. I mean, it's definitely a tragic loss, but it's for sure that we will all remember him fondly. But anyways, with all that said, we got a heck of an exciting episode coming up, especially when we are going to be watching a whole bunch of trailers. So I hope you are all prepared for this. Yes, we're not going to be watching trailers before the show. The trailers are gonna be the show. So with all that said and done, I would like to go into the chat wall. And I want to ask you guys, are you all ready for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? Let me hear it. So, are you all prepared? Let's see now. Yes, okay, let's go. Some people know what's going to be coming. That's great to see, all right? Yes, that is great. That is wonderful to go and see. And with all that said, it is now time that we shall go and get things started. And we might as well go and begin with what is possibly one of, if not the most anticipated movie of 2023. Now, there's going to be a whole lot of exciting movies that will be coming up, a lot of which that will be encouraging us to go back to the movie theaters and watch some major icons be back on the big screen again and again, or maybe their first time appearing on the big screen. But in this case here, I would have to say this is debatably the most anticipated animated movie of 2023. Now, last week, Nintendo did provide us a grand premiere with another quick little Nintendo Direct to show us this brand new trailer. And I just gotta say right now, boy, did it show us much more than even I could ever expect. So with that said, let's go ahead and begin this by checking out the trailer or the second trailer for the Super Mario Brothers movie. That is the Super Mario Brothers movie, to which that film is going to be coming out on April 7th of next year. I do believe it's April 7th. I just want to go and double check. Yes, it is April 7th. Okay. Oh boy. Now, I just want to go and start this off by saying that I didn't expect this to be like a massively full trailer, you know? I was thinking that maybe this was going to be something in the leagues of another teaser trailer where Nintendo and Illumination would only go and present us like just like little bits and pieces, like just like maybe a handful of like new information, but not reveal too many things at once. Like, of course, they did tease about Princess Peach. And yeah, that's like one of the more obvious things that we would go and get in this trailer. But honestly, from there, that would pretty much be it. But oh no, it is showing us so much more, like much more than even I could ever anticipate. Yes, we did get Princess Peach, and we did see how she is the ruler of the Mushroom Kingdom. But then at the same time, we also get to have our first look at Donkey Kong in the picture, but also like not only that, but even like the entire Donkey Kong world. And then after that, like we got a lot more of Charlie Day as Luigi. And then we also got the power-ups where we see Princess Peach like bringing Mario to a field of fire flowers, and we see like how she can get the ability by just touching the flower. And then we see Mario flying on the Tanuki suit. And then that freaking grand finale, the biggest shock, the biggest surprise for me has to be the Mario Kart. Like just that ending, like that has to be my massive highlight. Like right at the end, like after Peach tells Mario no pressure, then this moment, it's like, there's freaking kart racing in this. It's like, you got Mario Kart, and then suddenly he would land down on a rainbow road. Like, that is probably the moment that I've geeked out the most, more than anything else throughout the years. It's like, just seeing that, like a feature film version of Rainbow Road was my biggest surprise, and like probably the one thing that got me so excited. I remember I actually did do a live reaction last week to it, and like when I saw that, like I just flipped out. It's like, they got kart racing, they got a rainbow road, holy crap! Like it got me so hyped up, and just watching this entire trailer, that I have to say, like in the Mario fan side of me, this got me completely hyped up. It got me so like excited to see all these different elements. Like Nintendo and Illumination are really going to pack everything in this. Oh, and I even forgot to mention, like there was just like one quick shot of it, but you also see like a quick little cameo of yeah, like you got the Cheep Cheeps, but you also got Yoshi's. Like there's gonna be a moment where we will see Yoshi's in this movie. Like, oh my god, just like all of this happening at once. There, like, honestly, there's going to be so much more in this movie than even I could ever anticipate. And I think, honestly, that's going to be, like, a big part of the fun, is to see, like, all these components that we all know and love from the Mario games and how they are translated onto the big screen. So, like, this is going to be one of those films where the fun of it is going to be having this massive Easter egg hunt and pointing out all the things that we recognize from the games. But also, there's another thing that I would like to point out and mention about all this, and that is regarding the fact that, yeah, not only are we going to have it, but the way that they are translated to the big screen, like how we got these movie versions, oh my god, they look incredible. I've already mentioned that the animation right now, it just looks absolutely gorgeous. Like, Illumination really did outdone themselves over here, providing us with what is so far looking like it's going to be their best animated works yet, even more so than their Dr. Seuss movies. And it just looks gorgeous. It looks grand. There's just filled with so much detail, but also the way that they would translate those video game elements onto their movie. Like, yeah, they are distinctly different, but they're also recognizably the characters. And one thing I want to point out that actually does look great, it would have to be Donkey Kong. I'm not gonna lie, like DK over here actually looks fantastic. And I know, like, DK was one of those characters that a lot of people are very much worried about, especially with the fact that he is going to be voiced by Seth Rogen. Now, even though we don't necessarily have any evidence of what his voice is going to sound like, they didn't actually give us like the Seth Rogen voice onto Donkey Kong. But honestly, in terms of the animation, in terms of his new design, he actually looks fantastic. Like, yeah, it's a little bit different than in the video games, but I think it is very well translated. And also another one I gotta give credit to has to be Peach. Like, oh my god, she looks absolutely gorgeous in this. Like, yeah, hold on a sec. Right over, where is it? Wherefore art thou, princess? There we go, like, over here. Like, not only does she look great, like, this is very much the same Princess Peach that we all know and love from the video games. Like, you can see, like, very strong similarities, but even, like, the update with the additional details, it just looks fantastic on her. And also, I just want to go and point out immediately, speaking of Princess Peach, she, like, honestly, this new version of Peach in here, absolutely great, and easily one of the best highlights of this trailer. The fact that they're showing that Peach is no longer this damsel in distress, and that she is actually acting like she's actually acting like the leader of the Mushroom Kingdom, which in a way I guess you could say makes her a bit more of a fictitious royalty, because unlike the royal family in the UK, this princess right over here, she's actually useful. She's actually doing something for her country. All right, but all zingers aside, I think honestly it's a great new update with what they're doing with Princess Peach. Instead of making her the damsel in distress, and they're actually making Luigi the damsel in distress, I guess you could say. I mean, he did have a bit of a history with being a damsel in distress. There was that one point I do remember in one of the games, I think it's in one of the Mario and Luigi games, where he actually does dress up like Peach and actually does enjoy it. And I mean, not gonna lie, dude looks fabulous in the dress. But in here though, I just gotta say, with what Princess Peach is doing here, with the fact that she's being a lot more badass and like actually taking action to protect her kingdom. Like over here, like this is one of the more famous shots where you see Princess Peach like holding like the big axe weapon. I suddenly forgot what that name is. I do apologize, but like you could see like she is ready for battle even in her bike outfit. And it's kind of funny as well, like just on a quick side note, like it's also hilarious to see the different reactions to it, because those who hate it, like there's also been a bit of a backlash that because of this trailer, some people would go as far as to go and call it woke. But it's honestly hilarious because honestly, the people who are hating it and the people who are calling it woke, they make it so obvious that the only reason why they're hating it is because of how this new Peach is just making them insecure. Like, it really shows how the anti-woke belief and the anti-woke mentality really is a serious mental disorder that is fueled by toxic masculinity. It's just a bunch of, like, seriously insecure men who feel very fragile when they see Princess Peach not being the damsel in distress, and that she seems like a stronger character than both Mario and Luigi combined. And that it kind of like hurts their feelings to the point where now they're lashing out at the movie by calling it woke because it's fueled with too much feminism and stuff like that. And there actually was one example with one of the most pathetic white supremacists on the internet, Geeks Plus Gamers, where the host of that show actually did his own his own trailer reaction and got triggered because of his like mental disorder, that he got massively upset when he saw that Peach was a lot more badass. And I just want to state right now, I know some people are saying that the mentally challenged idiot from Geeks and Gamers is doing that on purpose, just for the purpose of clickbait. Like, he doesn't actually believe that way. But still, though, if he doesn't actually believe it, then why does he still go and actually behave like an insecure incel? If he wants to go and behave like an insecure incel for the whole public to see on the internet, then he should be treated like an insecure incel. And this is exactly why that all anti-woke channels deserve to be completely demonetized, have their monetization be freaking banned, especially with the morons at Geeks Plus Gamers. Like, it really goes to show that people with anti-woke beliefs, like, they're all just weak. This is exactly why woke culture always has the upper end. Why people who are quote-unquote woke are all objectively smarter than anyone who is anti-woke or would go and keep complaining at it. But all this to say that, honestly, again, it's just so hilarious to see how weak and pathetic these anti-woke people are when they would see Princess Peach being a badass. Like, if you really if you're calling this right here woke, it means that you're an incel. It means that you are a misogynist and that you are indeed a violent criminal, and that you should be treated like a violent criminal until you are forced to change your beliefs. All right, but anyways, with that out of the way though, so this is another great aspect. And by the way, also, I want to add that another great component in this has to be the voice acting, though. The voice acting so far, like, we're hearing a lot more different voices, especially like the two standout stars has to be Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, and also Charlie Day as Luigi. And by the way, thank you so much, Cinemageddon, for the subscription right over there. Like now we actually do hear a lot more of their voice, and yes, they are a lot more different than they are in the games and stuff like that, but they still provide a performance that actually feels believable and actually feels like, yes, they fit very well with the characters. Like, one great example has to be with Charlie Day, with that one quick thing. Like, that's definitely one of the, like, that already, that little bit was actually a lot of fun. And even with Anya Taylor-Joy, like, really show, like, just on this trailer alone, like, we really do hear a lot of her range. Like, honestly, it's just great to hear Peach not only like being like very commanding, like being like a strong leader who knows how to go and take down Bowser, but also someone who is compassionate as well. Like, even like, one nice moment is like right at the end, like when she is in that like fire flower field, like right over here. Performances in there are just actually great. Now, there is one thing I will state, though, that I need to go and express a little bit of concerns in regards to this trailer and what could ultimately lead to the movie itself. Now, as great as it may be to see all these different appearances, all these different Easter eggs, all these different cameos from like little Mario elements, and the fact that, like, in this trailer alone that we have received so many things compact at the same time, like ranging from like the power-ups, the Mario Karts, the Donkey Kong world, seeing the Yoshis and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, as great as it is, there is a part of me that is a little bit concerned if there is that little chance that maybe, just maybe, it could be focusing more on those references more so than the actual story itself. Because some people have pointed out that it is true that we don't necessarily get that much of an idea of what this story could be. Like, at the most is that Bowser is invading all these different worlds, and it's up to Mario, with the help of Princess Peach, to go and stop him. And at the same time, trying to go and rescue Luigi. That a lot of people might worry that there might be a bit more Easter eggs, more so than there actually is a plot in there, where like all the little Easter eggs might just be a bit of an illusion. You know, it would could be a bit like this year's Chippendale Rescue Rangers, where it's just filled with so many Easter eggs and cameos, yet when it comes to the actual story itself, it's really not that much. There's like very little substance that it could legitimately offer to us. And I mean, that is true, and that is honestly a bit of a concern, but then again, I could be wrong on that. You know, that might not actually be the case, and maybe there is like this legitimate strong story that is actually going on in there. So honestly, I want to go and give this the benefit of the doubt, but I'm not going to rule out that there might be that chance where it may focus more on the references more so than the story. But then again, that's just me, and I could be wrong. Like, that's just like a little bit of a side concern. However, there is one thing that I do want to criticize, one that I am pretty confident that it's not really good. And once again, it has to be Chris Pratt as Mario. Now, the thing is with Chris Pratt being Mario is that one thing I knew that like the big mission that this trailer needs to do in order to fully convince people that this Mario movie is going to be 100% amazing is that they have to prove the doubters wrong in regards to Chris Pratt's voice. Because so far, that is the biggest criticism that people are giving to this trailer, or from the trailers that we have seen, that Chris Pratt is a terrible choice to go and play as Mario. Now, I understand that maybe criticizing Chris Pratt in the teaser trailer may not necessarily be fair, because he literally just said 2 lines and that's it. That's not really enough to fully go and criticize or to really go and judge if he is a strong suit for Mario or not. Okay, now that's fine, whatever. And I just gotta say that when it comes to his performance right over here, all right, I can go and buy the fact that he's not doing well, or he's not doing the Mario voice, you know? He doesn't sound like Charles Martinet, and fine, whatever. Like many or most of the other actors, they don't sound like their respective characters either. Like Keegan-Michael Key, Charlie Day, Anya Taylor-Joy, they're doing something completely different outside of the games, and they have provided a wonderful performance. But with Chris Pratt, however, like he has no energy whatsoever. He sounds bored when he's doing his performances. Like there's one part here that honestly, it just sounds embarrassing. Peach right now. Like you're hoping that maybe he could provide a good performance, but it's like, oh, good God. You know, honestly, like the thing is with Chris Pratt is just that from the trailers that we are hearing here, it doesn't sound like he has any energy. And that's a problem because Mario is known for having high energy to go and run around and jump and go, wahoo, yippee! And also like actually speaking of wahoo, like that's another moment where like a lot of people have pointed out that he's not a good fit, like right here. Wahoo! Like that is such a pitiful wahoo. It, you know, honestly, I got the feeling, at least from the lines that we are hearing in here, it just sounds like Chris Pratt is only reading his lines more so than actually performing. He's not acting, he's just reading. It really does sound like he just doesn't really want to be there. He doesn't want to play as Mario. And it really sucks. Like, it's like, especially when this is supposed to be the Mario movie, like one thing they have to nail is the Mario performance. And if Chris Pratt doesn't perform well as Mario, if his performance turns out to be a disappointment, then I could see that a lot of people are going to be massively upset. And it's going to be like the biggest highlight as to what would be the flaws of the Super Mario Brothers movie. So that's just, and I know, like, maybe there are going to be more people out there who are going to say, like, oh, why don't you give Chris Pratt a chance? Why don't you give him a chance? It's only a trailer. You don't know how he's going to be in the actual movie. I mean, like, hey, I wanted to give him a chance in this trailer here. And if this keeps up, then honestly, we just have to go and come in terms that we're going to get a Mario with some bad acting, that maybe Bob Hoskins actually is the better cinematic Mario here. But overall, though, I just gotta say, such a wonderful trailer, though. Other than, outside of Chris Pratt's boring performance, I just gotta say, everything else is just fantastic. Like, as a Mario fan, it's got me so excited for it. I am completely hyped up for it. And also, just looking at all the different cameos and appearances and references, they're very exciting. The animation is absolutely beautiful. Like, it is grand, it is highly detailed, and like the way that they would go and adapt the elements from the games onto the big screen, so wonderful. And also, a lot of the voice acting, especially from Charlie Day and Anya Taylor-Joy, they are fantastic here. Now, we will be right back, and we will go and pass this onto the chat wall. And now we will then go and hear their thoughts on what they think about this new Super Mario Brothers movie trailer. And we are back. All right, now it is time that we will go and pass this on to the chat wall. And now let's hear what they think in regards to the Super Mario Brothers movie trailer. All right, let's see. I've had reservations about this movie due to my feelings about Illumination, along with celebs being cast over voice actors. But the first trailer managed to win me over with its charming presentation, and this second trailer won me over even more. I am really hoping this movie lives up to the hype, then it isn't just a fluke. Plus, if it pisses off anti-woke D-bags, it's an automatic win for me. Well, I mean, let's be honest, it really takes very little to go and upset anti-woke people. Like, they honestly get triggered and they get upset over the drop of a hat. So honestly, like, if you're gonna, like, if you want to go and celebrate things that would go and piss those people off, then you might as well celebrate everything on life, because let's be honest, what doesn't trigger anti-woke people? Oh, let's see. After the first trailer, this trailer exceeded my expectations. The animation is absolutely gorgeous, the acting from Charlie Day and Anya Taylor-Joy is fantastic, and the references to the games like Yoshi and Mario Kart is fantastic. And even Chris Pratt has kind of grown on me. While no Charles Martinet, he does a decent job on his own. So overall, as a huge Mario fan, this is going to be a must-watch on the big screen. Maybe I don't necessarily agree for now about the Chris Pratt performance, but I'm definitely on your side that I feel like this is going to be a must-watch. Let's see. This new trailer is a pure blast. The animation is stupendous, the new voices are superb, and the inclusion of lore from Super Mario 64, Galaxy, Mario Kart, maybe Yoshi's Island is very welcome. But maybe adding too much lore might hamper the storytelling. Also, strong female leads in video games are not rare. Bayonetta, Samus Aran, Lara Croft, and Alicia Maycott from Vampire Chronicles, not including 2B from Nier games, don't know much about her. Well, yeah, but then again, you got to keep in mind with the anti-woke people, they're misogynists. They're all sexist. they just want to treat women like sexual objects and nothing else. So really, their opinions just don't matter. Yeah, they'll get triggered and whatever, but that's their mental problem, okay? That's their issue of the fact that they are filled with so much hate. So honestly, like, really the only solution is to throw them all into therapy, and hopefully they would go and like remove the hate, and that they'll be able to change their beliefs easier. Let's see. I didn't expect this trailer to bring so many scenes and references throughout, including Mario Kart Racing, which got me excited a bit more. As for the voice acting, I will say that Anya Taylor-Joy and Charlie Day will do solid as their new take on Peach and Luigi, alongside with Jack Black as Bowser. Still not buying Chris Pratt as Mario though, but overall I'm excited. I'm more hyped for Across the Spider-Verse than Mario, given that story-wise and video game movie adaptations always come out weak. You never know. I mean, I think honestly, the ultimate judge will be when that trailer is going to be coming out in, they say in the 13th, so technically it will be next week, but we will see. But I don't know, man. For me personally, like, and maybe this is because like I've been a lifelong Mario fan, like, I'm honestly a lot more excited about the Mario movie more so than I am Across the Spider-Verse. Not to say I'm not excited about Across the Spider-Verse. I definitely am. But it's just personally, I lean more towards Mario because I've always loved Mario in my life. Let's see what else we got here. This trailer is amazing. Aside from Chris Pratt's very weak acting, the animation is so good, the characters translated so well into the movie, and the actors for Luigi and Peach did an excellent job with their voices. I'm very surprised that they include so many things like kart racing and Yoshi's, and seeing DK beating up Mario is the funniest part I've ever watched. I can't wait to see the Mario movie when it comes out next year, and not gonna lie, Peach in a biker suit looks cute. Oh my god, this new Peach right over here, she, like, honestly, when I saw the leaks, I had my doubts, but in here though, like, she is adorable. I don't know if she would exceed, like, Rosalina in my waifu tier list, but oh, she really is getting up there, man. She is up there, like, oh Lord, show me how to say no to this. Okay, let's see what else we got. This trailer, man, it had Mario Kart. I honestly never expected Mario Kart to be in this. My body is absolutely not ready for this. Everything else looks amazing so far. Donkey Kong's design, Luigi doesn't look that bad, and even Peach is getting far more interesting than in the main games. She now has more of a personality, and I can dig with. That I can dig with. Also, her redesign already made me fall in love with her. Mario now sounds okay to me, though. I'm starting to get used to that voice. Overall, I'm not ready for this. Okay, yeah, honestly, yeah, like, and maybe you guys could be right. Maybe, like, with Chris Pratt, it could be more of a case of just getting used to the voice, and maybe when we do see the movie, like, we will go and adjust. But I'm just hoping that he will put a decent, energetic, fun-filled performance, you know, like, hopefully the same kind of fun-filled energy that he did put in Emmett in the Lego movie. Hopefully that will that will like carry over to here. But yeah, no, definitely like a lot of fun. Definitely, yeah, also really excited. Who else do we have here? Okay, I'll go and read 2 more comments before we move on to the next trailer. Mamma mia, now that's a good trailer. You could just tell that Illumination is putting some real love into this movie with not just incredible animation, but all of the different references, even the small ones. Shows that they really do care about Mario. The voice actors, besides Chris Pratt, also fit in the characters really well, with Charlie Day easily being my favorite. Let's hope Seth Rogen will say Donkey Kong's signature line, "Banana Salama!" Oh my god, if they freaking do that, if they actually get Seth Rogen to say that, I'm gonna freaking flip. That would be phenomenal. Oh boy, let's see now. Damn, man, this film looks absolutely sick. The animation is absolutely amazing. I'm warming up a little to Chris Pratt's voice, but Charlie Day and Keegan-Michael Key are the true highlights, and all the individual references to the games are great additions. Also, I found out why Mario has no ass. They got they were too busy giving some to Donkey Kong and Peach. send me to horny jail all you want, but it was worth it because she kind of fine. Oh, I know, man. I know. Oh, and by the way, there is one more thing I almost forgot to go and mention. Something that is actually very interesting, and that is actually the logo at the beginning. Like, there are a few people who did mention this, but notice something very special about this logo of Illumination. Never once, and I do mean never once throughout this whole thing, do you see the minions. Because every time we see this logo, you always get one minion coming in going, Illumination! But none of this happens here. And that's when you know Illumination means serious business. Because they ain't bringing in the minions to go mess around here. Maybe the minions will appear like in the actual movie for the Illumination logo, but seeing this, it's like, it's kind of weird. It's fine, but it's like, aren't we missing something? I don't know. It feels very strange. But either way though, once again, I just gotta say, I'm very excited for this wonderful trailer. Not perfect, but honestly, I'm definitely sold on seeing this. And if you are all excited to go and check out the Super Mario Brothers movie, then keep in mind, it will be coming soon on the big screen on April 7th. And by the way, let us now go on to our next trailer after these ads, of course. And from here, we will go and next time actually see another Chris Pratt performance, but it will be a very interesting contrast. So check this out. And welcome back. Now, on our next trailer over here, like I said before, we got another 2023 movie, actually a big budgeted mainstream 2023 movie in which it will star Chris Pratt. However, unlike last time where Chris Pratt is going to be taking on a new role, this time he's going to be coming back to what is possibly his most beloved role, the one that many people could argue is the one that really propelled him into stardom. And that is, of course, being Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, in which he's going to be coming back once again, and what could possibly be the final time in which we got the trailer for the next big Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. So let's go ahead and now check out the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
We were gone for quite a while. But no matter what happens next, the galaxy still needs its guardians.
Hello, we come in peace.
Come on, Drax. Seriously, dude?
No! Ow!
Don't forget where we came from.
We have been running our whole lives.
Pete, I'm done running. We'll all fly away together. One last time. Into the forever. That beautiful sky.
And we'll kill anyone who gets in our way.
No, not kill anyone.
Kill a few people.
Kill no people.
Kill one guy, one stupid guy who no one loves.
Now you're just making it sad.
Oh, yes, and that was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, in which that's going to be coming out on the big screen just around a month after Mario on May 5th. And man, before I continue, I just want to go and state that even though I'm not a big follower of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, I gotta say that what is so far my favorite franchise from the MCU has to be the Guardians of the Galaxy. Man, those movies are just so much fun. Like, it really is one of those that, like, probably one of the best examples that really do highlight that these superhero movies, like, they don't have to be, like, edgy, they don't have to be epic, they can just be so much fun, and James Gunn really did deliver on those, especially with both the first Guardians of the Galaxy and the second one, and of course, not to mention the recent holiday special, which that one is just an absolute blast. And of course, like, with how the Guardians of the Galaxy has really been nailing it with those projects, and this doesn't even include the Disney rides, of course, like Mission Breakout and Cosmic Rewind, which I personally have not experienced it myself, but hopefully I will one day. But honestly, with number 3, already that one actually looks very exciting as well, especially with how they're pretty much looming over as to how that this is going to be the grand finale of Guardians of the Galaxy. And this is one thing that they really do emphasize. Now, admittedly, like, they've always done this before, where there is this hidden emotional core onto the Guardians of the Galaxy, like, especially with its big theme of family, which we have prominently seen in the first one, and especially in the second one as well, as to, like, who would be considered the real father of Peter Quill. But then we got this one where it looks like it's going to be doubling down, or even tripling down in this case, on the emotional core, especially looming over onto the fact that this is going to be the grand finale of the Guardians of the Galaxy. But at the same time, though, I will state that it still has a bit of that Guardians of the Galaxy humor. And I gotta say, like, my favorite parts are, of course, the beginning and the end, where you got Drax just, like, knocking down this apparently, I guess you could say they were in a furry planet. I know it sounds dumb, but I mean, how else would you describe it? Like, just take a look. Like, it's an ordinary, like, an ordinary North American suburb, and, like, you look at this, like, you got all these different animals. Like, this is a furry town. This really is, like, a town of living furries. But I will say, like, it is hilarious that like you got Drax, who just knocks down this little girl, and then all the different animals would just, like, go and stone them. Like, that was absolutely funny. And then, like, of course, you got the ending with Drax, like, who like cannot control his own bloodlust. Like, that part was also hilarious. Hold on a sec. Oh, no. That's not what I want to do. I pressed the wrong button. Sorry. I pressed the skip to next video than the play button. Sorry about that, folks. Here, it's this part here.
We'll kill anyone who gets in our way.
No, not kill anyone.
Kill a few people.
Kill no people.
Kill one guy, one stupid guy who no one loves.
Now you're just making it sad.
Like, that is funny, man. So, like, we really do have, like, both the heart and the humor of Guardians of the Galaxy. And so far, like, those two aspects are really represented very well. And I will say, like, even with the emotional core, despite the fact that we don't fully know how it's going to be in terms of how it's going to end, but we know that there is going to be something emotionally powerful that is contained in this feature. Like, how will we see the finale of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and how we will see the finale of James Gunn's contribution to the MCU? Because keep in mind, this is going to be his last project before he's going to move on and work on the DC films, considering that's going to be his new project, in which he's going to take away the elements that are more related to what would be considered the Snyderverse, and he would implement elements that are actually good for the MCU, actually good for those DC movies. So that will be exciting to go and see. But in this case over here, this will definitely mark, I guess you could say, like, maybe it sounds a bit of an exaggeration, but the end of an era, if you will. That it ain't just the end of the MCU Guardians of the Galaxy as we know it. Maybe there's a chance that they will go and appear in a few more movies after this. But this will also be the finale of it will be the finale of James Gunn with the MCU, at least for now. Like, you never know, maybe in like 10 years time we'll see James Gunn come back after leaving DC or whatever, who the fridge knows. But there is also one thing that I do want to go and discuss, something a little bit more serious. It's actually, there's one thing that is actually very interesting, and that it actually really does stand out. Look over here. It's actually pretty sus. Hold on. I just had to. I mean, there's already a lot of people already making those Among Us memes with this, and yeah, like, it's undeniable with all those colorful costumes that it is Among Us. But no, that's not what I want to go and talk about here. In actuality, what I want to go and discuss is actually, once again, Chris Pratt's performance. Because the thing is that it feels very interesting to go and watch this trailer right after watching the Super Mario Brothers movie trailer. Because I just gotta say, with Chris Pratt from the clips that we have seen here, honestly, he's actually pretty good. It really feels like he is putting his heart into it. It feels like he actually does care with his performance as Peter Quill. And I mean, understandably so. Like I said, this is pretty much the role that pretty much made Chris Pratt's career that we know today. This is the one that really did propel him into popularity. And when it comes to his performance with what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm sure that he definitely has like a massive soft spot, not to mention the fact that this is a role that he would go on to play again and again and again, not just with the Guardians of the Galaxy films, but also in many other MCU movies, whether it be like some of the Avengers films, or even very recently with Thor Love and Thunder, and even at the Disney parks, you know, like with Cosmic Rewind, with Mission Breakout, and even with the holiday special on Disney Plus. This is honestly something that, like, you could tell that it is very near and dear to Chris Pratt, and when he actually does care about a performance, it actually does show. Honestly, Chris Pratt is one of those actors that he could be a really good actor when he wants to. And you can tell that there are some moments that, yeah, it looks like things are going to get really serious for Chris Pratt. There's even one performance, like, you got one moment where he's just bawling out, like, just screaming, no! Like, we don't know the context of this, but, like, you could really tell, like, he really is trying, or at the very least, he definitely is compared to like the Mario movie. Like, let's go back to Mario once again. Like, let's just have like one quick little listen again to that performance that he did put out, like right over here. But then you listen to his performance over here, like even some of the little piece, like even though maybe Peter Quill is technically not as energetic as Mario, but it actually suits him very well. Like even over here, like when he's greeted to when he was greeting all the furries.
Hello, we come in peace.
Line. Yeah, there we go.
Come on, Drax. Seriously, dude?
No.
And then there's also like even like at the end once again.
Stupid guy who no one loves.
Now you're just making it sad.
Like that was great. Honestly, I feel like that is actually a pretty solid performance, and that Chris Pratt is actually doing his job pretty well playing as Peter Quill. So once again, what's interesting to note about all this is that Chris Pratt can definitely be a good actor, but only when only when he really does put his heart into it. Otherwise, he would just leave out a very dull and very unappealing performance. It would just seem honestly pretty boring, and there's nothing really to go and latch onto. Like there's only so much that Chris Pratt can do with the personality that he kind of branded himself. And there's been a lot of times where it really did not work, including the Jurassic World movies. But in this case over here, like they really are used to the fullest. Like I would even say right now, like Chris Pratt's best performance, at least the ones I've seen, are definitely in the Lego movie and in the Guardians of the Galaxy films, or whenever he would perform as Peter Quill. So that's just one thing I want to go and point out. But overall, though, I will say, even though this is just our first time seeing, or like the first time the public has seen anything from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I gotta say, yeah, this is definitely worth keeping an eye out for, especially for fans of the Guardians of the Galaxy films. Rather, if you do follow the MCU movies or not, it really feels like something that you really gotta go and keep your eye out for. This looks like it's going to be massively fun. Like already there's a lot of the laughs. There's already going to be a lot of heart into it. Like I'm sure there's going to be some moments that may make some people cry. But overall though, this looks like it's just going to be a lot of fun, and and definitely just a lot more of the Guardians of the Galaxy madness that we all know and love. So once again, if you are excited to go and check the movie out, then keep in mind that it will be released on May 5th of next year. All right, so with that said and done, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you all, how do you feel about the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? Are you guys impressed by it? Are you guys a little bit iffy? And especially if you are a follower of the MCU, I would love to know what you think about it. All right, let's see what we have here. As a huge fan of the MCU, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies are some of my favorites, and this looks like it will be awesome. The visuals are absolutely awesome. It looks like it's going to be extremely emotional, and I love how it could go and explore Rocket's origin story. And it really is crazy to see how Marvel took these characters not well known into a household name for Marvel. So overall, I'm hyped for this. Also, I'm expecting a death in the movie. Yeah, that's also, you do bring up some good points. Yeah, like it's very fascinating that we're going to get an opportunity where we will see kind of the origin story of Rocket Raccoon, where we see him as a baby. And then there's also like this little moment where Rocket Raccoon reunites with this otter character. So that's actually going to be pretty cool, where we will go and explore more into the lore of Rocket Raccoon. And also I will say, yeah, you know, that's, you know, I think I will agree with you there. I think there's going to be one prominent member of the Guardians of the Galaxy that will no longer be with us. Like, honestly, it could be Gamora, it could be Drax, it could be Rocket Raccoon, it could be Mantis, or maybe it could be Peter Quill himself. My money could probably be a bit more on Peter Quill. Maybe it could be him. I don't know. But ultimately, we will wait and see. Let's see. After how little they were used in Thor Love and Thunder, I'm so glad we're getting this film. Adam Warlock and the Grand Inquisitor looks incredible. Drax committing child murder at the start was weirdly hilarious. And the dynamic between the team solidifies why they are among my favorite MCU characters, next to Thor and Ned Leeds. Also, I'm not making the rules here. Mantis needs to be the main character. It's been the law ever since the holiday special. I mean, man, you never know, mate. You know, it would be amazing to see that holiday special be one of the most significant things about, at least, like, about Phase 4 or Phase 5 of the MCU. I would love to see that being, like, this massively significant chapter. That would be great. Let's see now. It's going to be a sad goodbye for me, and I also can't wait for this since, like you, Matt, I love Guardians of the Galaxy so much. One of my favorite films in the MCU. Also, the choice of song is just perfect. The song is called In the Meantime by Space Hog, and one of my favorite 90s songs ever. I think the only question about this film is the soundtrack, and I wonder what kind of soundtrack will it be like? More classic songs or some 90s tracks? Overall, I can't wait. Oh yeah, like honestly, that's also one thing that's been so beloved with the well, not just the MCU, but I mean with the Guardians of the Galaxy films especially, is the way that they're using this nostalgic soundtrack to go and fill the music of these movies. And honestly, I'm sure that's going to be something that people will keep their ears out for, to know like which songs are they going to go and use. That will be interesting to see. Let's see now. As a fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and the game I play, this looks like it's going to be a blast. The humor is still the same as the last movies, and it looks like it's going to be very sad because I read some comments in the trailer that maybe Rocket Raccoon is going to die, but who knows? Maybe Lila, the otter that Rocket is hugging, will die like in the Telltale game. And Adam Warlock looks pretty badass. Also, we're getting a Zootopia live-action reboot and Among Us movie, as you can see. Yeah, all wrapped up into one. Hey, I know that it would be very controversial to make an Among Us movie or a Zootopia live action remake, but hey, if you're including it in Guardians of the Galaxy, then everything is okay. It makes it perfectly fine. Oh, let's see what else we got here. I was already going to see this movie, but this trailer was just fantastic. I love the first two Guardian movies. The holiday special was great, and Volume 3 already looks great. The comedy is hilarious, the cast is amazing, and the emotional aspects looks to be even stronger than the first two. Overall, I am definitely going to see this in cinemas next summer. Also, quick question. The next MCU movie is actually Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which is coming out February 17th. Oh, quick correction. Oh, okay, so I guess technically the holiday special is still part of Phase 4. Okay, I gotcha. I mean, could you really blame me? I mean, considering that, like, with Phase 4, it's just been so long, it's been so confusing, and apparently there's already been reports of the fact that, apparently at Marvel, they're actually considering what they can do to adjust things for Phase 5 and Phase 6, where there's going to be less quantity and more quality, which hopefully they will go and do so. Because honestly, going like when I did that review of the first Avengers back several months ago, like it was already pretty tiring to go and follow like every single MCU movie like from Phase 1. Like imagine going through Phase 4. Like holy crap, like that's just literally weeks upon weeks of just content to go and watch. Holy crap. Oh, let's see. What else do we have here? This will be a great send-off to the third and final Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. The first one was great. The second one was good, but not as great as the first. But this here might be an emotional one of them all. I'm curious to see Rocket's backstory the most, as he is the most damaged character in the group. So I'm definitely looking forward to the most, including the Zootopia meets Beastar Furryland we're introduced. Don't know what else to say, but I'm excited and hope it ends strong. All right. I think I'm going to read one more comment before we go and move on to the next story. So here, we'll go with this one. This movie looks like a lot of fun, but it also looks kind of Avengers-like. The doctors are going through the motions because the emotions are going through the motions because they play the characters so well when they don't know where to take them next from reacting standpoint. But overall, looks very, very good. It will definitely help further the multiverse aspect brought up in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Just hopefully we will get the Fantastic Four villain Galactus in this movie. Well, who knows? But so far, it really has been impressing people, and it looks like at least the start of Phase 5 is looking to be very strong. And I mean, already Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is already building that hype, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is building even more of it. So tune in for the next story that we got, and we will be revisiting a long old franchise that we haven't seen a long time. But is their comeback going to be worth it? Well, we will see with the next trailer. And we're back. Now, when it comes to our next trailer that we have over here, this is actually going to be a franchise that we haven't heard from in quite a long time. And it's one of those that, in a way, it came and went in a sense. Because back then, or at least when the first movie came out, it was something that people had a lot of fun with. And even nowadays, some have gotten a lot of nostalgia. But then suddenly there was the second and third movie, and, well, that didn't really do that much or did any favors to this franchise. However, after all these years, we are finally going to see the big comeback of this franchise. A very long awaited welcome, but will this welcome be worth it? Well, we will have to find out when we check out this trailer for the upcoming Disney Plus animated movie, Night at the Museum, Kahmhnrah Rises Again.
Holy cow, look at this place! The acoustics are amazing! Yeah. Ah! I'm awake!
2 minutes and 2 seconds. That's a new record, everyone.
You gotta stop scaring the new guys off. I'm leaving for the summer, and I need someone to replace me.
If only there were a fine young gentleman with your last name.
Why do you guys keep insisting that I hire my son?
He knows the secret of this place.
A night guard? I'll just mess it up.
When have you ever messed anything up?
Everybody!
Night guard! Yeah!
Want me to unwrap it for you?
That won't be necessary, Nicholas. I am a master swordsman.
Maybe you could just rip the corner a little. Just one more thing. Don't forget to lock the basement.
The basement? Oh no, this is bad. This is very, 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 very...
I, Kahmhnrah, have returned to rule the world.
Oh, which is going to have to wait a sec because my foot's asleep.
Meet Seth, the god of chaos.
Hey.
Shouldn't you have a scarier name? Like... Ah! Okay, Seth works. Ah, grab my hand. That's your hand.
Should be smooth sailing from here.
Looks like this place is booby-trapped.
Get me out of here!
Get me out of here, please, is how we say it like a big boy.
I'm just a stupid kid who's in way over his head.
When I was 18, I led the French army to victory over the English.
And I was only 14 when I led the Lewis and Clark expedition.
And Law discovered fire when he was 11.
Fire burn.
I know the feeling.
And that is Night at the Museum, Kahmhnrah Rises Again, in which it will be premiering very soon, actually, on Disney Plus this Friday, which is December 9th. And I just want to go and start off by saying that when it comes to the first movie, I would say that it was actually something that I've honestly very much enjoyed as a kid. Like, I guess, well, I don't know if I would say I was a kid or I was a preteen when that came out, but still, though, it was a very entertaining movie. It was definitely a lot of fun where, like, you got Ben Stiller as a night guard, and he would see, like, all these historical figures, and he would see, you know, he would see, like, all these different, like, animals, and even, like, the skeleton T-Rex all coming to life in this fun-filled adventure. And even has like this nice little message about learning history, you know, like try to, you know, to go and learn about history, knowing about like what are the, you know, what are these like important, significant figures so that like you can get to know them better. You know, it's honestly a lot of fun. It is a little goofy, but it's like goofy in a pretty enjoyable way, in which like even to this day is very quotable. Even like me and my family, like we still quote it to this day, especially with the Easter Island head, like dum dum, you have my gum gum. You know, definitely a blast. I cannot really comment much about the second or third one because honestly they just suck. Yeah, I know, a little harsh, but I am just not a fan, especially with the second one. Honestly, I think the second one is the one with Amelia Earhart, played by Amy Adams, and I just find her to be pretty annoying. And then there's a third one that's just, you know, honestly is like quickly forgettable. But the first one, though, I gotta say, is a lot of fun. But then we got this trailer over here. You know, now that we got, well, not this trailer, but now it seems like we got this brand new animated feature that brings back Night at the Museum. And I just saw this, and honestly, I can't help but feel like, is this necessary? Like, honestly, is this how we are going to bring back Night at the Museum? I mean, like, I'm not against a return of Night in the Museum. Like, I can imagine how that could be fun, but just like watching it like this, as this like lower, you know, as this like subpar animated feature, it's just, it really does not look great. It really doesn't. Like, number one, the one thing I gotta say that I was really put off by has to be with the animation. Like, honestly, this really feels like this is just full-on TV quality. Like, this is the kind that you would see, I guess like the common term would be like flash animation, but this really does feel like digital 2D animation that is very commonplace on TV shows and stuff. And even just, you know, just looking at many of these elements, especially with the characters, you know, like honestly, they just don't look great. I mean, maybe the designs are fine on their own, you know, like these designs, they're okay. But the fact that you know that they're supposed to be an adaptation of what we have gotten in the live action films, like honestly, that's the one thing that just really puts me off. Like, this apparently is supposed to be Ben Stiller, or this is supposed to be Robin Williams, or like or another great example is with with like the two little guys over here. Like, I know I forgot who's supposed to be Octavius, but I know the cowboy is supposed to be Owen Wilson. Like, if you could correct me on who is supposed to be Octavius, honestly, like, you feel free to go and remind me, but it's just, honestly, looking at them, it's just, honestly, it's really not working much for me. Let's see. Yeah, like, I know a lot of people are just saying, like, yeah, the designs are okay. Yeah, like, the designs are okay on their own, but when it's trying to tell me, like, these are supposed to be the animated versions of very recognizable actors like Ben Stiller and Robin Williams, yeah, no thanks. Some people are saying Steve Coogan, probably. That may be the case. I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, like, you got the animation, and I mean, yeah, the character designs, they're fine, but as live action adaptations, they are not. Oh, some people are saying the Owen Wilson character is Jebediah. Okay, yeah, thank you. But yeah, anyways, going back into it. So yeah, like, the animation, it's not great, honestly, especially when this is supposed to be a Disney Plus animated feature. Like, it really does have that subpar feeling. Like, yeah, maybe there is a way for this animation to actually look pretty good, but not in this context over here. And also, another thing I want to mention that is just not good for me is the humor. The humor is just, wow, it's awful. Like, it really is bad. Like, many of the dialogue that they would go and present, like, whenever they're trying to go and be funny, like, honestly, there's very little of it that actually works. Like, it really does feel dull, and a lot of the jokes just fall flat. Like, there are ways that maybe some of these jokes would have worked out, but it's just the execution of many of them. It really does not work. Like, when Kahmhnrah emerges, you know, like, when he's finally revived and now he's gonna go and take over the world. Oops, sorry, forgot to go and put up the volume. Hold on a sec.
Rule the world. Oh, which is going to have to wait a sec because my foot's asleep.
Like, honestly, like, you got a whole bunch that I feel like it just doesn't really work. Like, I think the only time that they ever had a joke that is kind of funny is, like, it's right at the end with Joan of Arc, like this part.
Fire burn.
I know the feeling.
Like, okay, like that joke, I would say that did work a little bit. Okay, that's cute. Like, you know, you got a little bit of that Clone High style historical humor. Like, okay, that one I will say I'll give it a pass, where that joke actually does work out a bit. Okay. Like, I'll give it to that, but honestly, other than that, though, there really is nothing in this that's just working out for me. And there's nothing here that tells me why we really do need a revival of Night at the Museum, why we really need to bring this movie or this franchise back. Because honestly, it just feels like Disney wants to go and try to revive this franchise, and they just want, like, you know what this is? This is just content filler. That's really what it is. Like, honestly, like, I wouldn't really blame the filmmakers on the quality of this feature. It really just feels like it's just Disney that really they just want to bring back this franchise just for the sake of having it back on Disney Plus, and that's it. Like, barely giving the film crew enough time or even enough resources to actually go and make a proper comeback of Night at the Museum. And I don't know, and especially like the fact that they are bringing that back, considering that they're not even bringing back that all-star cast, like, it really does feel questionable, because like another significant part that does make it fun is the acting. Like, you could tell that the actors in the first live action movie, they were having so much fun with it. But in the case of this one, it's just like the fact that they're pretty much being replaced with this subpar animated version. It's just gonna leave a bit of a bad taste in my mouth, especially with Robin Williams, considering that it is one of his more known later performances. And I do believe, like, even one of his last performances in general was actually Teddy Roosevelt in the third one. I could be wrong on that. At least one of the last ones. But overall, though, just looking at this, it's like, it really is a turnoff for me, especially as someone who did enjoy the first Night at the Museum. This one just doesn't feel necessary to exist. And again, it's just nothing more but content filler for the sake of saying, hey, we're bringing back Night at the Museum, when Disney didn't really put much care into actually bringing back Night at the Museum. So honestly, it just doesn't do much for me. Like, at the most, I would say at best, maybe the character designs are okay, but other than that, though, it's just, there really is nothing about it that feels like it's gonna be worth it. But if you are curious to go and check out how this movie is going to be, then keep in mind that Night at the Museum, Kahmhnrah Rises Again will be premiering on Disney Plus on December 9th. And with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I want to ask you all, how do you all feel about this trailer of Kahmhnrah Rises Again? Are you actually excited for this? Do you disagree with me that this might actually look pretty good? Are you guys really put off by it as much as me? Let me know what you all think. Let's see what we got. As someone who does enjoy the Night at the Museum movies, this honestly just feels eh. I'm not against the idea of bringing Night at the Museum back, it just doesn't work here. The humor feels weak, and the animation, while okay on its own, doesn't work here. And I also don't think this will be able to do justice to Robin Williams as Teddy Roosevelt, so overall, it feels like a pass for me. Yeah, I understand. And I mean, to be fair, there's no one who's gonna go and top Robin Williams' performance. Like, I'm not gonna hold a grudge on the actor playing Teddy Roosevelt here. It's just like, it's a lost cause. It's a hopeless mission trying to go and play Teddy Roosevelt to continue that legacy that Robin Williams already established. Let's see what else we got. I have seen all three films, and I'll give you my thoughts. The first one was entertaining back as a kid. The second film was the same, which is like more, which I like more due to more creativity and also as a kid. But the third film, which I just saw recently on Disney Plus, was forgettable. For this animated film, it looks mediocre and felt corporately manufactured for the purpose of adding more Disney Plus content. I didn't like the animation either, as they look weird and off to most of the characters. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay. Definitely fair there. Even as someone who isn't too big on the Night at the Museum movies, I'll admit this kind of looks okay. The character designs look weird and the jokes aren't hitting so far, but the rest of the animation is decent and Zachary Levi is doing an okay job. Oh wait, is Zachary Levi in this? Oh my god, so they actually did have a recognizable person. Yeah, oh okay, so yeah, I do have the voice list over here, but let's see, it has Joshua Bassett, Jamie Demetriou, Alice Isaac, Gillian Jacobs, Joseph Kamal, Thomas Lennon, Zachary Levi, Amal Salek, Kieran Sequoia, Jack Whitehall, Bo Yang, and Steve Zahn. Okay, so there are a few recognizable actors. I'll have to double check myself to know which ones specifically are the ones, like, if there is actually a recurring person to do, who's playing their role in the movie, but okay, interesting. Anyways, I might give it a go since I have nothing new to watch on December 9th after I saw an early screening of Pinocchio last Thursday. Okay, maybe I'll rewatch it once before this film. Actually, screw the film. Pinocchio time! Yeah! Honestly, I do have to agree. Like, I'm just gonna spoil it right now, but I have seen Pinocchio on the big screen. Absolutely wonderful. Please watch it whenever you have the chance. Oh, let's see what else we got. I really love watching Night at the Museum as a kid. The second movie was okay. The third one was a big meh. And with this trailer, on one hand, do we really need this? Do we really need an animated movie of Night at the Museum? I just feel like this revival is going to be a miss. Also, if Steve Coogan that plays it's Steve Coogan that plays Octavius. I just looked it up. There's also Brad Garrett as the Easter Island head and Rami Malek as Kahmhnrah. Oh my god, that is true. I completely forgot that Rami Malek was in that thing. Oh my god. Oh yeah. Okay. What else do we have here? I remember the first Night of the Museum, and it was quite a fun and enjoyable movie. Though I have basically no memory of the second or third one. But for this, it just feels meh. I just feel meh about this. Everything from the animation, the characters, to the humor are just mediocre at best. And that's honestly worse than being bad. Because you can at least have fun with a bad movie. The only thing that was notable for me was the Joan of Arc joke in the end because of how rather dark it was. Yeah, exactly. I kind of feel the same way, that it feels like they're like it. Like I will give it that it doesn't feel like it's going to be like the worst animated feature of the year. It's not going to be on the same cringy levels as either the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild or Hotel Transylvania Transformania. It just looks like something where it's not offering me anything that's going to truly be memorable, rather it be good or bad. So I definitely agree with you there. And the Joan of Arc joke as well. Yeah, that's probably the only good thing in this trailer. Let's see, what other comments would there be? I don't know. I like the animation style and the voice acting is good. But I feel like the usage of Teddy Roosevelt is slightly disrespectful. Considering this film is probably a cash grab and Williams' thoughts of merchandising in the genie is in mind, Robin Williams probably wouldn't be a big of a fan. Yeah, okay, so that's fair. Like, I'm sure there are some people who might be excited for this movie, but I do get where you are going with it. Especially with the aspect of Robin Williams. That's going to be like the big elephant in the room of this feature, especially with the fact that I do believe like Robin Williams stated on his will that he doesn't want any representation of his likeness in any of his other movies. So honestly, something like this, it feels like, yeah, it feels very disrespectful in the spirit of Robin Williams. So there is going to be that factor that's going to be pretty awkward for this. Let's see, what else do we have here? I do have a soft spot for the Night of the Museum movies, especially with the second one. It has a Darth Vader cameo, but this one looks okay at best. Not too much to talk about, unfortunately. I'd rather see this as a TV show, not a feature film. At least they are trying, I guess. Yeah, even at that, I would honestly say that it is debatable if they really are trying, considering there's not really much that the crew is trying to use to begin with. But I will say one thing I do agree with you. I feel like, yeah, this would have been much better if it were just a TV show, more so than an actual feature film. Like, honestly, like, especially when this does feel like it has that TV show quality. And if they wanted to use this to go and make a Night at the Museum animated TV series, this would have been fine, honestly. But in the context of a streaming movie, yeah, this just feels weak overall. I think I'm going to read one more comment before we move on to our next trailer. Let's see. At the rate Disney keeps making movies and shows out of Fox properties, I'm sure they'll announce an Alita sequel any day now. This looks like it will be at least a fun romp. Nothing groundbreaking, but it looks fun. Also, since Jillian Jacobs is in the cast, I am required by law to ask, oh, Britta's in this? So yeah, overall though, I will say for me, like, there are some people whom I will say they seem pretty much more optimistic than I am about this, which, you know, hey, if it works out for you, then great. I will say I am not really looking forward to this movie. This really does not look impressive for me. At least that's just my opinion, though, but still, I don't know, man. I just feel like this is just a big I don't know and just one big meh. Maybe not the worst movie that we're going to get this year, but definitely not the most memorable, that's for sure. But if you are curious to go and check out Kahmhnrah Rises Again, then keep in mind it will be released on December 9th, which is this Friday. But I know for you all that you were expecting something a little bit more different. Something a lot more hyped up. Something a lot more anticipated. And oh, don't you worry. I will be getting into that one after this commercial break. And we are back. Now, there have been plenty of other trailers that we have gotten in the past week. Like, even the ones that I have over here, they were just samples. I have yet to even discuss about some of the other hyped up trailers that we have gotten, including Transformers, The Rise of the Beast, which is going to be the next big Transformers movie that's already getting a lot of big hype. And then there's Cocaine Bear, which has already gathered a lot of attention, and a lot of people are very much excited for that brand of stupid fun to come. But what I have over here, though, is actually going to be one that already it's placing itself as one of the most anticipated movies of 2023, especially when this will be the big comeback of a true cinematic icon. A true legend is finally returning to find more hidden artifacts and, of course, to go and fight Nazis. So with that said, let us now go into our final trailer of this episode as we take a look at the grand return of Indiana Jones. And this time, it will be Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
I miss the desert. I miss the sea. And I miss waking up every morning, wondering what wonderful adventure the new day will bring to us.
Those days have come and gone.
Perhaps. Perhaps not.
I don't believe in magic. But a few times in my life, I've seen things I can't explain. And I've come to believe it's not so much what you believe. It's how hard
But you believe it.
Who is this man?
I'm her godfather.
related.
Get back.
Man, what a blast! And that was Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, to which the movie will be coming out in theaters on June 30th. And man, what an exciting adventure this is. And I mean, yeah, of course, I definitely do enjoy the Indiana Jones films. They are always a blast. And I mean, it's safe to say that they are one of the true definitive adventure movies out there, especially with Indiana Jones going out on this big hunt to find like this very important piece of relic, rather it be the Lost Ark or even the Holy Grail or anything like that. And while he would go, while he would go onto his big adventures, he would go and fight off against Nazis. And especially nowadays, considering that, well, we are living in a pretty frightening time where we are actually seeing the rise of Nazism, especially in America. So, like, I think it is pretty much a great time to see Indiana Jones come back to go and fight off with people who have similar mindsets as Kanye West or Nick Fuentes or Milo Yiannopoulos or any other Nazis out there. So it's great to see that Indiana Jones is pretty much reminding us that the only rights that Nazis deserve is just the right to remain silent. And especially with what they are showing us in this trailer, man, it is incredible. Like, of course, you do have a little bit of the nostalgia factor, not only with the comeback of Indiana Jones, but like some other characters that are going to be coming back as well from the franchise. But on top of that, I think like the true big highlight is going to be, or actually, you know who also made a bit of a return? Like, maybe not officially, but there was also one quick moment where we do see the rolling ball. Where the fridge is it? Because there was just like one quick moment where we see like, like right over here where we see Indiana Jones just pushing down a giant stone ball, which obviously like, this is a clear reference to the original. I mean, who could forget the giant rolling ball scene? So, of course, that thing has to go and come back. And also, like, one thing a lot of people have pointed out that, like, they were just, like, jaw-dropped by is to see young Harrison Ford again, to see his grand return. And I will say, like, the effect that they have here, like, holy crap, it's not that bad. Like, I know it is a little bit controversial to talk about the de-aging technology, and we have seen like little tastes before, like in Martin Scorsese's The Irishman, for example. But this one right over here, like, wow, this actually does look very impressive. Like, it really does look like young Harrison Ford. Like, it really does feel like they significantly de-aged Ford to make him look like how he was back in the 1980s or when he first performed Indiana Jones. So I gotta say, like, that is actually pretty awesome. And obviously, like, it's kind of funny. I guess you could see how, like, he pretty much disguised himself as a Nazi. Like, you see the Iron Cross there. So there's going to be some interesting context to see what they got over here. But the one thing I do have to say that really does stand out has to be the action scenes. Of course, like, when you want to watch an Indiana Jones movie, you want to see the action, you want to see the peril that Indy puts himself in, you want to see the creative different ways that Indiana Jones gets himself out of trouble and, try to take down the Nazis and stuff like that. And and so far we do have a bit of a taste. And like, what seems to be the big standout moment, it looks like we are going to see like a big horse chasing scene. Like we see like Indiana Jones just running, just running on a horse. Well, and like we even see like the horse does come back, where we see like Indiana Jones just run, just like running in a subway with the horse. So there's going to be a lot of those moments, and of course a lot of promise of like, going on this big mysterious treasure hunt, even though I will state it doesn't necessarily describe what is this Dial of Destiny. Like, never once do they ever mention about it. They're just looming over the fact that Indiana Jones is going to be back on another epic adventure. So even though they didn't reveal what it is just yet, already from this teaser trailer, just seeing like basically the big message is that Indiana Jones is back. And I believe this trailer actually did manage to sell that well, and already got me a little bit excited to see Indiana Jones return. And that even after all these years, Harrison Ford still has it. Like, you could still see the epic stunts, or the the big adventures, the big action that he's getting himself in. And I do have a good feeling that that old spirit of Indiana Jones, like in the first movie, and well, we don't really talk about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but already in terms of those ones, like that spirit is going to be coming back. At least the trailer did pretty well in order to hand out that promise. And one thing I will state that is also hilarious, like even some of the humor, because they're like also a significant part with Indiana Jones that makes those movies so enjoyable, is of course that they do sprinkle in some humor to make the adventure fun. It's not scary, it's not always dark, it's not always grim. Like sometimes like they sprinkle in a bit of that humor just to go and make it a bit more enjoyable and a bit more lighthearted in the crazy scenarios that Indy puts himself in. And I think they really represented that well with that ending bit where we see him with the whip, like this part. Come on.
Get back.
Like already that part just feels fantastic. And I don't know, I feel like it's a bit of a throwback to that one battle where we see like the one person with the sword like showing off his moves, and Indy is just there, I have a gun, bang. So like we kind of have a bit of a role reversal over here. So already that part is just fantastic. So overall, even though we don't necessarily have seen, we haven't necessarily seen a whole lot from this trailer, already from this, it just feels like it's gonna be a blast. I think honestly, this is gonna be one of those summer movies that people will need to go and keep an eye out for, especially with the fact that this is the grand comeback of Indiana Jones. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. And if you are excited to see the return of Indiana Jones, then keep in mind that the movie will be coming out in the summer of 2023, specifically on June 30th. All right, so with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I want to ask you all, how do you feel about this trailer of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? Are you excited to see the return of Indy? Are you guys a little bit more iffy about it? And especially if you are a fan of the Indiana Jones films, let me know what you think on this. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh goody, Disney's making a movie out of a Lucasfilm property with Kathleen Kennedy attached to it. That never gathered any controversy. Nevertheless, this trailer looks great. I'm excited to finally see an Indiana Jones movie that I don't have to buy Paramount Plus in order to watch. Also, Crystal Skull is a masterpiece, and I will fight all of you on that. Oh, we got it. Oh boy. Oh, good. Are we at that point now? Like, are we at that point where like Crystal Skull has now made it into the Star Wars prequel phase, where it got a lot of hate back then, but now it's going to be considered a masterpiece by fanboys? Like, have we reached that stage now? All right, let's see what we got. I'm more of a casual fan of Indiana Jones, if anything, even if I just ordered a Wii copy of the Lego game off eBay. But this looks pretty cool. The action looks absolutely amazing. Harrison Ford is still as Harrison Fordy as ever, and the way he goes fighting Nazism is, in this day and age, really cathartic. I need to rewatch the film except Crystal Skull before I see this one, but for now, I'm just glad there's no Shia LaBeouf. Oh, and no Willie Scott, and no weird alien stuff. Yeah, that is definitely true. Or any fridges whatsoever. Like we don't have an actual fridge that can protect us from any nukes, you know. Okay, let's see. I have seen all the Indiana Jones movies as a preteen and teen, and while there were some traumatizing moments, it was a lot of fun. The first was fantastic, the second was great, the third was terrific, and the fourth film, we don't talk about. We don't talk about Crystal Skull. For the fifth film, I hope it's not on the levels of the fourth film, but I hope it will be fun, where we will see Harrison Ford giving his last time as Indiana Jones while seeing John Williams' final score before retirement. Oh yeah, that's definitely going to be a significant factor. Like the fact that this is going to be the final time we will see Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, and the final film that John Williams will be composing, that's definitely going to be a very significant deal. And I think that's going to be a factor as to why this movie will indeed be a hit. So yeah, you do bring up some very good points. I first saw this trailer at D23 Expo back in September, and it was one of the best trailer experiences ever. After the event, everyone was talking about the Indiana Jones trailer, and it was one of my favorite parts during D23. Everything in this trailer looks phenomenal so far. The de-aging technology is superb, the action looks awesome, and even that music, man, by John Williams will be something special. Can't wait to see Indiana Jones kicking Nazis' asses again. It's been a long time, Dr. Jones. Oh, of course. I do wonder, though, like, how many of these trailers that we have seen that actually did premiere at D23, it does make me wonder, like, I don't know, maybe there have been something, like, maybe eventually, like, all the stuff that we have seen from D23 will emerge before even, before, like, they would make their big debut, you know? Let's see. Did not expect that trailer to come forth, but yay, more Indy Jones action. Perhaps this will be Harrison's last big acting role so far, but just hearing the famous theme really got me hyped up beyond 9,000. Also, among this list of LucasArts games, which would you like to see turn into an animated movie? Mine would be Secret Monkey Island or Full Throttle. Well, I can't really say right now because I'm in the middle of a show, so sorry about that. Oh, let's see, what else do we have here? I think honestly I'll read one more comment before we go and move on to our grand finale. Or actually, maybe I could do two. Yeah, I got room for two. As someone who really enjoys the first three Indiana Jones films, this movie looks like a great comeback for the character. The action looks awesome, Harrison Ford can still definitely crack that whip, and does still do a great job, and since James Mangold is directing this, who also directed Logan, I hope this will give a proper send-off for Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, as what he did with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Oh, yes, that is definitely true. And that's another very significant factor, how James Mangold is a very well-established and very well-respected director, especially after Ford versus Ferrari and Logan. So I'm sure with his work on this Indiana Jones movie, he'll definitely do justice on it. Let's see now. After seeing this trailer, I'm actually cautiously optimistic about this. I'm not a huge fan of Indiana Jones, but I really do enjoy these movies. As with this does look pretty good. The de-aging of Harrison Ford looks outstanding, and the action scenes still look the same, and I love it. However, I am a bit cautious about this movie because I'm a bit worried that it might end up like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I'll have to wait and see for this release. Well, so far, I think it is safe to say that Dial of Destiny has so far made a great first impression on people, and we will have to wait and see with how the movie will ultimately turn out when it will be released on June 30th. Now, stay tuned for the grand finale because trust me, I do have one major grand finale because, oh boy, we are going to dive into what could possibly be one of the biggest screw-ups of 2022. Seriously, it really is that bad. If you want to know what it is, well then stick around because there's a lot of things I gotta say about this one. And we are back. And this time, we are here for the grand finale. And for this grand finale, I know that many of you have guessed what could possibly be the grand finale of this. And some of you have probably guessed maybe it's established titles. And no, it's not that one. In fact, I know that I've pretty much taken care of that issue, at least on my part. I've pretty much privated the original reviews that had those sponsors and now put up new ones. The ad agency told me that they're not going to pay me for it, but you know what? Fine, whatever. As long as I'm not associated with established titles in any way possible right now, considering that, yeah, their reputation has pretty much crashed and burned. And some people are guessing, am I going to talk about Kanye West? Yes, that man is just a living nightmare right now. Like, the dude is just messed up beyond beliefs, but no, it's not going to be Kanye West. In fact, I'm just going to state right now, considering his mental health, there's actually one thing I would agree with Ben Shapiro on, and that is regarding the fact that, well, unfortunately, I don't think Kanye is going to live for long, considering that, yeah, considering his mental state, considering his extremely far-right beliefs, there's going to be a point where he might unfortunately take away his own life. But that's another story altogether. What I'm going to talk about, though, is actually something completely different. What I will be discussing about is actually what I stated before, possibly one of, or if not the biggest screw-up of 2022, and that is going to be regarding Cartoon Brew. Now, you recall, like, just over a month ago, I've already discussed about a screw up with Cartoon Brew, where they spreaded the false rumor in regards to the fact that Cartoon Network is going to shut down. Like, you know, the news in which Cartoon Network Studios was going to move under the same building as Warner Brothers Animation, so that both studios would be under the same umbrella, and Cartoon Brew misinterpreted that as the shutdown of Cartoon Network Studios, and that Cartoon Network in its entirety is going to shut down, which many animators have actually called them out and say that they were just flat out lying and spreading misinformation. Now, you would think that this would be the worst that Cartoon Brew would go. You would think that there's no way that they would sink even further than that. Well, apparently this weekend, they've proven us wrong, because they did something awful, and that is doxxing. Yes, they actually doxed someone, specifically Rebecca Sugar, the creator of Steven Universe. So what happened exactly? Well, during the weekend, Cartoon Brew published an article called Steven Universe creator Rebecca Sugar buys cozy $2 million house in LA suburbs, which was written by the editor-in-chief of Cartoon Brew, Jamie Lang. And in the article, he would go and describe about Rebecca Sugar's home, talking about how luxurious it is, how many rooms it has, how many bathrooms, what are some of the big fancy items that you could find in that house. And he would also go and put in the address, like actually pinpoint exactly where this house is in the LA suburbs, in which, of course, this has sparked a lot of outrage on the internet because that's just flat out doxing. The fact that Cartoon Brew would just go and publicly release the address or the new address of Rebecca Sugar, that's just flat out doxing. So they've received a heavy amount of backlash on the internet, and it has gotten so bad in which Cartoon Brew had to go and take down that article and put this one instead, where it says, retraction, Cartoon Brew has deleted a real estate story which has published on Saturday. And I'm going to go and read you this entire article here, which again was actually written by Jamie Lang. And you'll see at the same time, this is actually his attempt of an apology. So I'll go and read you here. I decided to take down the story. Steven Universe creator Rebecca Sugar buys cozy $2 million house in LA suburbs, which we published on Saturday, December 3rd. Our readers let us know that they were unhappy with the story being posted, so it is no longer on the website. I'm sorry to those of you who voices your concerns and anyone who didn't but felt similarly. I can also assure you that I won't be writing or publishing any real estate stories about individuals purchasing homes in the future. When I decided and published this piece, I never could have imagined the response it would get. I'll get to that later. Cartoon Brew has published dozens of similar stories over the years without even receiving any similar feedback. My poor judgment here isn't an excuse though, and I am sorry that I published this piece. My journalistic background didn't prepare me either. I started as an editor-in-chief at Cartoon Brew in March after 6 years writing for Variety, where real estate stories involving industry figures are standard. In fact, I found out about this deal in Dirt, which is the former real estate section of Variety that was spun off into a standalone site operated by the same owners. Pictures for our article were retrieved from the home's real estate listing and were taken before Sugar purchased the property. It is clear to me now that the industry status quo doesn't work for our readers, which is why we're making the change. I appreciate that so many of you voiced your concerns and hope you continue to do so. I always try to be as available as I can within reason. My email is jamie@cartoonbrew.com and my DMs are open on Twitter. I read every email and every message, even if I don't always have time to reply. So that's pretty much the big thing. And that is the fact that they actually published Rebecca Sugar's address, like actually pinpoint to it, and now they had to go and take it down. Like, oh my God, how can you sink this low? Like, I just need to ask, like, why? Why do you feel the need to go and actually publish this story? Like, seriously, like where, like, how is it that you were able to go and publish someone's private address and think that this is a good idea? And the crazy thing is that I'm not just blaming Jamie Lang here. I'm also pinning the blame onto, like, the people running the website, including the founder and head of Cartoon Brew, Amanda Midi. This must have gone through some layers of people where they have to go and inspect this article over here and actually say, yeah, this is fine. Let's go and put this up. Has there been no one on Cartoon Brew that actually thought to themselves, hey, you know, maybe let's not post this. You know, maybe let's not put up someone's private information. Like that, it just blows my mind. Like the layers upon layers of stupidity of how all this actually went. And I really have to go and ask this. Now, pardon my language, but really the only thing that I have to ask towards Jamie Lang and to the people of Cartoon Brew, it's just, what the fuck is wrong with you? No, this isn't a case where I would just go and say, what the fridge? This is something that, like, they screwed up so bad that even I have to go and ask, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you, like, why even make this a story? Like, that's, like, honestly, that's possibly the biggest question. Like, why do you feel the need to go and publish this story? Why is this a story that actually matters? Why do you feel the need that you have to go and make a story about how Rebecca Sugar purchased this brand new luxurious home that's worth $2 million in the LA suburbs? Like, why do you need to go and publish that? Why is this something that you think that readers would go and be interested in reading? Like, considering that Cartoon Brew prides itself into being the most popular website that specializes in animation news, what does this have to do with animation news? Yeah, technically, this is related to a very popular cartoon creator. But other than that, this is nothing more but an individual buying a new house. That's it. It's honestly none of our business. It is no one else's business other than Rebecca Sugar and Rebecca Sugar alone. There is no need to go and post this as a legitimate story. It just makes no sense whatsoever. Why would anyone be interested to know where specifically Rebecca Sugar lives right now? Or how much her new house costs? Why does that matter? That's only her business. It doesn't, like, this isn't journalism. Like, this really is just, like, really some creepy, scandalous crap. That's what it really is. Like, it really does make Jamie Lang look like an absolute creep. This is, like, almost stalker levels. You know, like, it really feels like Jamie Lang is just he's just stalking Rebecca Sugar just for the sake of sensationalism. And I feel like that is honestly the only reason why this article even exists in the first place. It's really just for clickbait purposes. The fact that it is associated with a popular cartoon creator that created one of the biggest animated shows of the 2010 decade, that somehow that would be enough to gather a lot of attention from people and to go and accumulate clicks. And it kind of makes me wonder, how bad are things going at Cartoon Brew right now, where they have to resort to doxing someone, that in order to get more attention from people, they have to resort to releasing private information from an individual. Now, I will state right now that when it comes to real estate news, I do understand how that can actually have a place in animation. Like, there are some that can be that could actually be relevant and that they could actually be important to know. Like, for example, if there's a new animation studio that is going to be built, like in Hollywood, in Los Angeles, in Vancouver, in Montreal, or any of the other animation capitals, like, okay, like, knowing about that is actually very interesting. That would be something worth noting. Or when a major media company like Disney or Comcast or Paramount, if they're going to go and expand their, you know, like, make a massive expansion, and they're going to buy a new land to go and build more buildings to create a new, like, division or whatever, that would be interesting to know. That does have a place in animation news. But stuff like this, stuff like individuals buying their own home, this does not. This is an invasion of privacy. And also, there's another thing that I do want to go and bring up, and that is regarding this article right over here, because I actually have some gripes with this one. Because the thing is, like, not only is this a statement to say that they took down that controversial article, but also the fact that Jamie Lang wants to go and make an apology. But one thing I have to state here from reading all this, it's just, honestly, it kind of gives me two different perspectives of Jamie Lang. It's either he is an absolute idiot who has no idea what he is doing, or he just doesn't really care. That this entire piece is just saying, sorry, not sorry, or that he would go and say, I'm sorry you feel that way. That's really the impression that I am getting. Like, yeah, he technically does say that he apologizes to his readers. He apologizes to the people who were upset with him and stuff like that. But there is one thing to point out that is actually very interesting, because notice that throughout the entire thing that I have read to you, never once does he actually acknowledge his mistake. Never once does he actually state that I am now aware what I have done is wrong. The most that you could ever get is just this little piece right over here, that I can also assure you that I won't be writing or publishing any real estate stories about individuals purchasing homes in the future. But he, like, never once, though, does he actually state why he was in the wrong for writing or publishing any real estate stories about individuals purchasing homes in the future. Like, those are two completely separate entities that he would say, I am sorry, and that he would say, that I won't be doing this again. But he never does any connection. He never actually states that he is in the wrong for actually doing so. He never actually states that I am the one who messes up. I am the one who did wrong. And yes, what I did was doxing, and that was bad of me, and I am sorry. And that's why I honestly got the impression where, again, he's either a freaking complete idiot or he just really doesn't care. And especially the cringiest line in all this, the one thing that really does make it so stupid is just like the fact that he would say like when he said this piece, when I decided to write and publish this piece, I never could have imagined the response it would get. Really? You never thought of that, man? Like, are you serious? You never once did it ever occur to you that when you're writing an article about someone's new private home and even pointing out exactly where the address is, never once did it ever occur to you that maybe, just maybe, it doesn't work? Like, maybe it's just you shouldn't do that? That maybe it is doxing and that maybe it is wrong? And like, especially with the fact that makes it even worse is that he's trying to explain that, well, I mean, technically, this is industry standard. And like, even this part here, this is freaking cringe, I swear. It's clear to me now that the industry status quo doesn't work for our readers. Oh, well, I mean, it's common practice. I guess it's just the cartoon. Maybe it's just the cartoon Brew readers that they just don't seem to understand how journalism works here. So not only are you doing a half-ass apology, but you're also kind of throwing the blame towards the readers that they just don't seem to understand what would be the journalistic status quo? Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's not the fact that you don't have freaking common sense. It's the fact that readers don't understand the freaking status quo. Like, are you out of your freaking mind, dude? Like, seriously, good God. And like, once again, this is just a massive example of how low Cartoon Brew has sunk. And really just, if this does not prove that Cartoon Brew has no legitimacy in terms of being an animation source, then I don't know what the fridge is. It's absolutely embarrassing how low that they have actually sunk. And you know, the craziest thing is that I do remember several months ago, Cartoon Brew has actually announced that they're trying to sell. You know, that Amity wants to take Cartoon Brew and give it to another company so that they could go and handle it. And I could tell you, with the incidents that we have recently had with the misinformation regarding Cartoon Network and now doxing Rebecca Sugar, Like, it's pretty much at the point that I can imagine the value has significantly dropped. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it would be at a point where it is so bad that even I could afford to go and buy Cartoon Brew myself. Like, for God's sakes, how, like, at this point, like, would there be someone out there who would be willing to go and buy Cartoon Brew for like 5 digits or maybe even 4 digits at this point? It's gone to the point where it's just ridiculous. And that is why I need to send you all a message to not go and use Cartoon Brew as your source for animation news. Like, it really has gone to the point where they're so bad that even content creators on the internet are much more, they're much more reliable as animation news. Even Vilsky Bum, even this podcast is much more reliable in telling you animation news much more than Cartoon Brew. But if you want to know what sources that you should actually use, there are a lot that I can go and recommend, and that that I'm sure the chat wall can also go and recommend too. Like, one great example that I have used often in my podcast is Animation Magazine. Animation Magazine, I would debatably say, is one of the best sources for animation specific news that you can actually go and actually look into. Some people are even pointing out Jerry Beck as well. He actually has his own website along with many other animation historians called Cartoon Research that's also worth looking into as well. There's also another one called Rotoscopers. Bunch of great people in there. Highly recommend that you go and check them out. And then there is also, on social media, you can go and look into one that is called Cartoon Crave, that has gathered a great reputation. So you can go and follow Cartoon Crave. And then, of course, you got the big name entertainment websites that I have often used on this podcast. I highly recommend you go and look into Variety, Deadline, The Hollywood Reporter, The Wrap, all of which have great credentials, have a great reputation, and when they would go and report something, it's most likely going to be pretty real. So you have plenty of other options out there other than Cartoon Brew. And if you're still someone who would go and still use Cartoon Brew as your source for animation news, then don't be surprised if people are just not gonna go and listen to you, considering that you have used an incredibly illegitimate source. So really, if you're still gonna use Cartoon Brew even after all that we have talked about, after all the bad things that has happened that they have caused, then honestly, that's all on you, man. Because what they have done here, not only was it terrible, but it is also extremely dangerous, especially with the fact that we live in a very dangerous time where a lot of anti-woke conservatives are becoming increasingly more and more violent with the way that they are attacking and even wishing upon a genocide towards the entire LGBTQ plus community. Like, God only knows what they want to do with Rebecca Sugar, considering that she is a massive target with her creation of Steven Universe. And especially with what they did, especially with what Cartoon Brew did, it is extremely irresponsible. Like, honestly, that could be something that Rebecca Sugar could legitimately sue for. Especially putting her in a dangerously vulnerable spot. And I know a lot of people might say, oh, well, technically, they can just go and, technically it is taken down so no one can see it. But then again, there is the Wayback Machine. On the internet, you know that things are not deleted forever, and there are ways people can bring that back. So that's why, honestly, with all this that happened, fuck Cartoon Brew. Seriously, man. It is such a deadbeat website with no credibility, run by this, egomaniac with no credentials whatsoever, that even, some of the lower-ranking cartoon reviewers like Mr. Enter, or, I was about to say some others like Cosmodor, but no, absolutely, okay, maybe not as bad as Cosmodor, that even Mr. Enter has a better reputation than Amity and Cartoon Brew. Use something else for your source for animation news, because Cartoon Brew is not one of them. They're just desperate for clicks, and they would resort to do anything for it, even if it means doxing cartoon creators. So with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I want to ask you all, how do you feel about the news? If you have any feelings about the situation, then really let me know what you think. Let's see now. As you said, Matt, what the fuck is actually wrong with Cartoon Brew? Stooping to this level of low by literally doxing someone is just ridiculous and shocking. I already knew that Cartoon Brew wasn't a good source to use, but now I will never use that website after this whole mess and the Cartoon Network thing. Seriously, what's next? Are they going to report that Comcast has officially purchased Warner Brothers Discovery? At this point, I can only imagine what kind of massive backlash they would get. Let's see what else now. Seriously, what the hell were Cartoon Brew and Jamie Lang thinking for literally posting the creator's home and address? They do realize they will end up causing creepers and robbers in attacking Sugar's home upon finding out the address, right? This was a shitty thing, especially for an animation news company to do so. I recommend either Animation World Network or Animation Magazine for better animation news source than this, so fuck Cartoon Brew, pardon my language. Yeah, I think this is one of those rare exceptions where using that kind of foul language is kind of acceptable. If I'm using it, then I think it's okay for you to use it. It's official. Cartoon Brew are now the TMZ of animation. First of all, why do they care about Rebecca Sugar's new home? Second, are they trying to make poor people feel bad? Third, why the fuck did they reveal her address in their pointless freaking website? Jesus Christ, why do people still read this crap? Why, people, why? Seriously, when will Cartoon Brew and AniMat's officially be blacklisted in the animation industry? God damn, I hate this world so much. Okay, well, I mean, this is not a cause to hate the world entirely. Like, relax. Yeah, and honestly, I would debate that with TMZ, at least, well, like, yeah, as douchebags as they can be, at least they're way more reputable than Cartoon Brew, because at least the stuff they report, it's actually correct. Like, when Cartoon Brew said, like, when TMZ says something, yeah, you may not like it, but what they say is not wrong. Just saying. Let's see what else we got here. Just when I thought that Cartoon Brew couldn't be any dumber, this guy just had to prove me wrong. Not only is this a huge violation of privacy, not only is this writer dumb, that is dumber than a mountain of rocks, but honestly, nobody freaking cares. Sure, I'm glad that Rebecca Sugar got a nice house since she had worked on Steven Universe and a few other cartoons, but this is her personal life, not me. I'm going to find whoever wrote this article and throw a pool noodle at them. Freaking throw a pool noodle. What a consequence. Like, are just wondering, are you gonna whack them, or are you gonna hurl that like a spear? Oh, let's see. I'll read two more comments because we are running out of time here. Let's see. Okay, seriously, Cartoon Brew should be very ashamed of themselves for doxing Rebecca Sugar. That is really fucking creepy and idiotic to do so. The apology Jamie makes on the whole situation is just so cringe, and he sounds like he's heartless of the whole mess. Also remember, kids, if you want to catch up with the latest animation news, Animation Magazine, Veilsky Bum, and Cartoon Crave are the most trusted source you'll find. Personally, I would debate about Veilsky Bum, like, not 100% sure, but Animation Magazine and Cartoon Crave, definitely. As for you, Cartoon Brew, fuck you for doxing. Okay, we'll read one more comment here. There we go. Honestly, I don't think I have seen an animation website so anger-inducing than Cartoon Brew. The fact that they doxed Rebecca Sugar and basically gave away her address is just full-on disgusting. Seriously, this just proves why the animation community would just be better off without Cartoon Brew. Seriously, they really are the animation equivalent of Fox News, and they are just fake news. Yeah, my thoughts exactly. And with that said, that should do it for this episode of AniMat's.
Things are gonna get crazy!
Whoops, wrong one. Sorry, wrong button. I need to remember. It's not, I need to stop doing that. Okay, that should do it for this episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. And I just want to go and say, if you guys enjoyed what you have seen, then don't forget to go and subscribe to me both on Twitch and on YouTube. And also, don't forget to go and follow me on whatever podcast service that you're listening, rather it be on Amazon, on Google, on Google Play, on iTunes, on Spotify, and many others as well. And with that said, thank you so much for joining me on this, and tune in for more fun-filled, crazy stories to talk about in AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. So I would like to go and say thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, see you later, dudes.